Hi, Deborah Roth here, back with another installation in my Inner Goddess Team series that I've been doing for the last 5+ years. And I do it because I am so committed and passionate about making sure that we do everything we can to bring the qualities, the passion of the Divine Feminine back into our world, which is in so much need of the compassion, of the intuition, of the honoring emotions. There's so many, so many of that I've written, I've spoken about it, I've done videos about it. In fact, when this video is up on YouTube, there's a little eye in the first, couple minutes. And if you click there, you'll get a short video that talks about the Divine Feminine and why I'm doing these things. So I am particularly excited to be offering this one on the eve before All Hallows Eve, the night before Halloween. And I often try with these offerings to put them in sync with either the new moon or the full moon or the season. And I've been really having fun finding, since I've been doing this so long, all the ones that I know, all of the goddesses that I'm most familiar with, I've done already. So I've been diving even deeper to explore goddesses that have to do with this time of year, which all over the world is celebrated as a time when the veil is the thinnest between the living and the dead. And so I've highlighted so many goddesses of the underworld. Wonderworld. It is a pretty amazing world if we really embrace these myths and are not afraid of death and dying. I've been, again, writing and teaching a lot about that in the last couple weeks in this season. So I encourage you, go to my YouTube channel. I've done a couple different videos about the spiritual origins of Halloween. I just did a really wonderful talk and ritual at a place called the Metaphysical Society of New Jersey. I'm writing about all of this in my newsletter that's going out this weekend. So all of that to say, I'm excited to introduce to you yet another goddess of the underworld that I was not familiar with. She is a goddess from the Philippines, from the Bagobo indigenous culture there. Her name is, and there are a lot of, I'm always open to prompts on my pronunciation. I try and research it, but her name is Mebuyan, and she was the people that honored her, the Bagobo, are known for their intricate beadwork and embroidery, weaving traditions, and still honor her to this day. Her story is quite a beautiful one, quite a powerful one, as any goddess of the underworld would have to be. She had a brother, Lumabat, who was the god of the sky, she being the god of the underworld, but not originally. And when they were both existing together on the earth, when it was time for him to go to heaven, he wanted his sister, Mebuyan, to go with him. And she refused. And so they started fighting each other. And ultimately, she, let's see if I can find she descends to the underworld, but one of the sources that I found just had a beautiful way of and I'm just going to read it. Usually I just tell the story. They began to fight each other. Soon the woman, Mebuyan, sat down on the big rice mortar and said to Lumabat, her brother, "Now I am going down below the earth, down to Gimokudon, which is their underworld. Down there I shall begin to shake the lemon tree. Whenever I shake it, somebody up on earth will die. If the fruit is shaken down, if the fruit shaken down is ripe, then an old person will die on earth. But if the fruit fall green, the one to die will be young." Then she took the bowl filled with pounded rice and poured the rice into the mortar for a sign that the people should die and go down to Gimokudon. Presently, the mortar began to turn round and round while the woman, while Mebuyan, was sitting upon it. All the while, as the mortar was revolving, it was slowly sinking into the earth. And just as it began to settle into the ground, the woman dropped handfuls of the pounded rice upon the earth with the words, "See, I let fall this rice. This makes many people die," dropping down just like grains of rice. Thus hundreds of people go down, but none will go to heaven. She didn't want him to go to heaven because that's where her brother was. Straight away, the mortar kept turning round and kept going down, down, down until it disappeared into the earth, with Lumabat's sister still sitting on it. After this, she became known as Mebuyan. And once she was down there, she actually resides in a place. She rules a place that's actually on the way to the underworld, what they call the Gimokudon. And she rules a place called Banua Mebu'yan. And it's literally Mebuyan's town. And people stop there after they've died on their way to the underworld. And the adults, when they go there, their spirits wash the spirits wash all of their joints in the black river that's there, and that runs through this town of hers. They wash the tops of their heads. This bathing ritual, which is called Pamalugu, is for the purpose of making the spirits feel at home, so that they don't feel drawn to go back up and be alive again, because that would disrupt things on earth. Now, she is shown, I've got a couple representations of her. She is shown kind of like the Diana of Ephesus, with many breasts, because there are two different images, or many different images of her, because she's a pretty well-known. She is shown with many breasts because she is also where any child that dies in the tribe, in the Bagobo tribe, visits her first, because she then nurses them until they don't need nursing any longer, and then they can move on to the underworld, to the Gimokudon, and join the rest of their families. Hello, Debbie. Wonderful to see you. So it's such a rich story. And what's interesting too, and I love this as a woman, having nursed my kids at one point, that in the Bagobo culture, they don't wean. The women don't wean their children. They let them keep nursing until they get distracted, until they start doing other things. And when that happens, the mothers don't go running after them. They just, will very slowly but surely start to give them a little bit of rice, so they get used to eating rice. But they're never forced to wean. So this connection that Mebuyan has with the children is such a beautiful one. The other thing that's important to keep in mind is that, like many of the images of the underworld, it's not this horrible fiery place that the Christian hell has been made out to be, certainly by early Christian fathers, maybe not so much now, I'm not sure. But it's actually a beautiful place. And I'll read again something from one of my sources. Mebuyan, the Dewata, that's what the deities are called in the Bagobos culture. The deity of the afterlife who takes care of the souls before they leave Manamam, that's the Supreme Being's judgment. Her entire domain is of pure gold, on which the soul could clearly see its reflection. Isn't that beautiful? The souls there only talk about good and sensible things. If one starts to talk, everyone else listens. Sounds like a great place to be. There's no need for food. Mebuyan's domain in the underworld is where the soul lives a second life after its body, the physical twin, dies. Isn't that beautiful? So she is quite beloved, as you can imagine. She's depicted apparently often as this, ugly crone type person, which, crones get a bad rap that way. All crone means, and I've talked about this before, is time, chronology. It means someone who's lived a long time. So she is a crone goddess, but at the same time a mother goddess. So you can call on her respectfully if you are not, and most likely you are not, of the Bagoba tradition. Call on her to help guide any special loved ones who have recently passed, and children as well. That's always a particularly sad thing. So I love that connection. I think of all the underworld goddesses that I've researched over the years, she may be the only one that sort of specializes in children, which I think is so lovely. So I will leave you, and I've sung this before, one of my favorite chants when we're talking about honoring ancestors and honoring those that have come before us. So just take a deep breath. You can take this in. I always sing it maybe 2 or 3 times so that you can join in if you like. They're always very simple. It's the blood. I might have to start it down lower. It's the blood of the ancients that flows through our veins, and the forms pass, but the circle of life remains. It's the blood of the ancients that flows through our veins, and the forms pass, but the circle of life remains. It's the blood of the ancients that flows through our veins, and the forms pass, but the circle of life remains. So, on this eve before Halloween, before this ancient, sacred, holy day of honoring our ancestors, I just invite you to take some special time at some point over the next several days, because then we go into All Saints Day and All Souls Day, which are the Christian updating of these ancient indigenous celebrations around the world, everywhere around the world. And I've written and spoken about that so much. Let me know what you think. If she seems as extraordinary to you as she does to me. Have a beautiful Samhain, a wonderful moment or more of celebrating your ancestors. And if you want to do that with me at some point on November 19th, when I do my Scorpio New Moon Circle at the Wellness Universe, that will be our theme. Scorpio time of year is the perfect time to do ancestor honoring. And I will be, that will be our theme this year. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, who is the Greek god of the underworld. So it's a perfect time to really honor our loved ones who have passed on and to honor our ancestry. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween, Sacred Samhain.